All right. All right. Got the Australian accent. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. How we doing? Welcome back. Am I gonna have to start doing like a little end of the stream DraftKings best lineup of the day or something? Football's back, baby. Excuse me. Football is back. And that's going to be a lot of money in DraftKings for me. I love DraftKings. I wonder if DraftKings gets any seasonality behind it. Wow, DraftKings actually been going up pretty nicely lately. Damn. I didn't even realize this. Yeah, DraftKings has been sort of grinding. Interesting. All right. Welcome back, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another beautiful day to be alive. Oh, I play fantasy football. Do I ever? Do I ever? Basketball is their biggest sport, really? I didn't know that. Maybe because there's so many games. More opportunity to for more sort of tournaments they do. Probably. Morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the streams. Welcome back to the live streams. Hope everyone is having a good morning. Giants crushed. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like to get my expectations up for the Giants. I've been it's been a painful last, I don't know how many years. When I was in high school, I think was I high school? Yeah, I mean, the last time I enjoyed watching the Giants was Eli Manning versus the Patriots. That's about it. So I'm not getting my hopes up. Need to go see Messi live. Yeah, I will eventually. Yeah, Kelsey. That's funny, right? Everyone's so big on Kelsey this year in fantasy, and he possibly gets hurt. Waller, yeah, Waller should be all right. I mean, I know Daniel Jones is probably just going to throw to him nonstop, so he might be a good little fantasy option once in a while. All right. Morning. Just waiting for some people to jump in here, guys. Yesterday was a battle for me, man. Yesterday was a battle. Started the day with a loss and then just battled back pretty much the entire day. Tough day. And there was a reason for the downside yesterday. Very nice reason. And I sort of missed it early morning, unfortunately. But it was a very nice reason. 15,500, that 15.5 level on the NASDAQ futures, very clean rejection. Very nice rejection of that yesterday morning, and you saw that aggressive downside. The downside really started yesterday at that 10 a.m. news. The 10 a.m. Economic data is sort of what kickstarted that downside move. So nice downside yesterday. Congrats if you guys caught that. I didn't do it the best of catching it yesterday, which is, it's going to happen. You can't catch a move every single day. So it is what it is. But today, let's look for the continuation. Let's see what happens on the intraday today. There are some nice levels to be watching. Vince, if the recess to yesterday lows happens during pre-market, do you count that as a missed trade or get in at open? I always like to get it. I always like to get that actual move happen at open. Synasty. Yeah, I mean, it could happen pre-market, but I like to be a part of it intraday. So if I miss it pre-market, I'll look for it to bounce back into it intraday. That's what I'll be looking for. So some interesting levels to watch today for sure. I think there's going to be possibly some more price action. Yesterday, we actually had a little bit of downside action. So let's see if we get that continuation today. So some nice setups out there that I'm looking at, and definitely looking to have a little bit of a cleaner day, right? I like those clean days. I've been having a lot of really good days where you just get that one clean trade. The first trade of the day, just really nice, clean one. Yesterday, it was back to be a little bit of a battle for me, which is fine, right? We have to anticipate that as trading. Trading is never going to be just, easy, one and done every single time. There's going to be those days where you have a little bit of a sort of battle on the intraday. So interesting day yesterday. I hope you guys did good. I ended up being able to come back green because of Tesla, but I lost on Meta early morning. So, yeah, let's do it. Welcome back, guys. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you could. Tesla channel. Well, let's talk about, obviously economic earnings calendar, all that, blah, blah, blah. The economic, I'll pull it up real quick. I don't think we really have anything major. It's just jobless claims, guys. Jobless claims at 8:30 today. We'll pull it up because why not? There it is. Jobless claim. Oh, who's that? I know that guy. He's in a movie. Who's that guy? Glenn Powell, is that his name? Jobless claims, U.S. productivity, unit labor costs, 8:30. And then a lot of Fed presidents speaking today. But you have that jobless claims and that productivity and labor costs at 8:30 today. So that's that. Nothing really on the earnings side. So let's just go right into the schedule. That's why we're here. We're here for the schedule. Tesla channel, very nice channel to be watching today on Tesla. 252 supply, 244 demand. Definitely something I'm watching there. Nvidia broke that 480. That was a big break yesterday. Big break under 480 on Nvidia. Definitely something to be watching. I'm congested, man. Google 135, big level today. This is definitely a top watch for me. If I see Google break under 135, I'm going to be watching this. Microsoft 335 supply, another big one to be watching. Apple, very aggressive downside yesterday. A little bit of that China news going on. Big level 177 on Apple. We are right back into 177. Big watch here. Amazon 136, and then this AMD trend potentially breaking today. Something I will be watching as well. right? So, some nice watches, some clean things to be watching on the ES and the S&P and the SPY ETF. That 20 SMA coming in is very important. It came in yesterday, very important. Let's watch it again today. Let's get started. So, let's actually start with the ES today. The last time I started with the ES, I had someone complaining about it in the chat. Why you start on the ES? Why not the NASDAQ today? Say it. You're out. Okay. All right. So ES, you guys can see right here, 44.50. This is going to be our level today. This is the most important level of the day, 44.50. Yesterday, we talked about that 44.85 being important. Remember, we said probably the most important level to watch today is 44.85. Look at what happened after we lost that level yesterday. Today, that level is 44.50. 44.50, previous day lows, right? We have that low coming in right now. If we go to the hourly chart, look at 44.50 right here, right? 44.50. 44.50. You see that right there? That previous double top right there at 44.50. If we go over, we can see 44.50 right here as well. 44.50, right? So that 44.50 is going to be major, right? We can see that's where we bounced yesterday, and that's where we're sitting at right now today. So if we see, right, it's potentially could be very clean today. If we get a nice 44.50 break, if we turn it into rejections today, this is going to be a very nice short entry today. This is definitely something that I will be watching for the short side play. A break and hold below 44.50, that could be a very clean little setup, okay? So big watch there. You got the 20 SMA right here, which we are now below in the pre-market. That 20 SMA, it's not going to be perfect on that line. It's a sort of that general area, but you can see that 20 SMA is sort of right here. If we see rejections of that 20 SMA today, if we get a move under previous day low, I like the downside continuation. Now, why do I like the downside continuation so much? It's because you can see here, when we zoom out, there really isn't many, it's not really a structure below that. It's sort of just this up and down sort of channel move below 44.50. So below 44.50, right, I think you can sort of move pretty freely in this channel here. We moved pretty freely in this channel previously. So if you break under that 44.50, I think there's opportunity to the downside. First opportunity to the downside, probably around this 44.35, right? Maybe down into these lows here around 44.20s. There is, I believe, some downside opportunity there, but we need to see the break and hold under 44.50. That's going to be the key, okay? Los Franklin, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. As always, thank you for all the support on the streams. You're a good man. So that's the big one today. That's what I'm watching, that 44.50 on the ES. If we bounce off that, if we do get a bounce off that 44.50 today, here's what I'll be watching. I'll be looking to see if we trade back into this little supply high right here, right? If we bounce off the 44.50, let's say early morning, we get that little bounce off that level, I'll be looking to see what happens if we trade back into this little after hours high right here. You guys see this rejection right there, right? I'll be looking to see if we get a bounce, what happens at this supply high here. And then the next one, right? Obviously the big retest level would be the 44.85. That's if we get that. I don't know if you're going to see that today. Maybe you do. But if you get a larger bounce, the big retest level is the 44.85 right here, 44.85, and then the breakdown point from yesterday, right? So those are the three levels sort of that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for upside today unless the ES is back over 44.85. I don't want to look for upside unless we're back above that 85 level. So I'm going to be looking for the supply rejections. One, I'll be looking for a 44.70 retest rejection, right? I'll be looking for this. That's one. If that doesn't show, I'll be looking for this, right? If that doesn't show, right, if we don't even get up to that, then I'm looking for the break and hold below previous day lows, right? So break and hold below previous day lows, retest of 44.70 or retest of 44.85, right? That's what I'm watching today on the ES for my trade setups. Okay. SPY very clean as well, right? Look at this 20 SMA on the SPY. This is going to be a major level today. So 15-minute chart on SPY. We can already see how clear the levels are setting up here on the SPY ETF, which I like, right? You can see right here. Yesterday, downside into the 20 SMA right there. 443.50, 444, right? Remember that 444 level? So we have that downside right into that 444 20 SMA. Bounce off of it. End of day, right? End of day bounce off that 20 SMA. Where do we push up into? We push up into the 50 SMA, right? Look at that. 50 SMA right here, 20 SMA right here. So as we speak, the SPY is stuck between the 50 and the 20, right? We are stuck right between the 50 and the 20 SMA on the SPY ETF. So you know, if we get a break of one of these sides, there is going to be a trading opportunity. If we get a break of the 20 SMA and we get stuck below previous day lows, right, on the SPY today, if we get stuck below previous day lows and we reject the 20 SMA, that is a very nice potential downside opportunity, right? That would be my downside opportunity today. That would be the cleanest setup in my eyes. A break and hold below previous day lows, which would also be a rejection of the 20 SMA, right? And you break down below and you hold below for downside. If you get a bounce off this 20 again today, right, I would look for the 50 SMA rejections right here. Look for the rejections up at this 50 SMA, up at this 446.50 level, right? That would be my supply area to be watching for if we get any type of bounce off that 20 SMA. So really two nice setups there today, right? Two nice clean setup potentials. We either look for that break and hold below previous day lows for that downside continuation, or if we get a bounce, look for that supply rejection up here around that 446.50. Those are my two watches on the SPY ETF today. NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, much weaker, right? We're still making new lows in the NASDAQ. What has the NASDAQ already done today? Which could sort of show us what could happen on the ES, right? The NASDAQ has already rejected previous day lows, right? We have already turned the previous day lows into rejections on the NASDAQ futures. And here on the NASDAQ futures, I do not see much support until the 20 SMA, which I'm hoping does not happen before the market opens. That would really suck, but it is possible. So you guys can see here on the NASDAQ futures, there is not much support here, right? Little to no support, right, in this zone between 15,350 and around this 15,150, right? Look at this right here. Look at this straight up move. There is no support there. So as of right now, you're sort of in free fall. And if you're in this pre-market, great. If you're waiting for market open, you got to stay patient here. So previous lows from yesterday, break and hold below here in the pre-market, right? You can see that we are holding below yesterday's lows. You're in this low volume area, right? The next demand really doesn't step in around this 15,150 and around this 20 SMA, right? So 20 SMA is around 15,175. Demand starts around 15,150. If we go to the 15-minute chart, right, you can see we rejected that previous day low. So I'm actually going to put a line at previous day low because I think that is important. How do I want to look at this? I think I want to, yeah, I want to make sure I have a zone that starts at that previous day low. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put it like this. I'm going to leave my chart like this. I'm going to go ahead and leave the start of my zone at previous day low, and I'm going to have the end of the zone up here at that little pre-market high rejection. So if we get any type of bounce today, right, intraday, maybe early morning, I want to see if we get a bounce back into previous day lows, and I want to see if I can get that continuation to the downside, right? So I want the bounce, right? The bounce is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a bounce back into this pre-market high rejection, right? And back into previous day lows. If we can get that bounce, right, back into that zone, then I can look to re-enter some shorts, right? And then have that downside continuation towards that 20 SMA. So that would be ideal, right? The ideal move would be a bounce back into previous day lows for us to get short. If we don't get that, then we're probably going to have to get a little bit aggressive with it, right? If we don't even get that, you might need to get a little bit aggressive with it to find an entry. But right, as the more aggressive you get, the more careful you have to be, right? Because if you take a short at maybe this pre-market low, this previous pre-market low right here, you see this little previous pivot low, there could be a short entry there as well, right? You could see something like this. So you just have to be a little bit more careful when you take something like that. But that is also a potential entry point, right? A retest of that previous pre-market low here around that 15,270. So we'll have to see how we sort of, what we look like near open here. Are we getting any type of bounce or are we continuing lower? But those are the levels I'm watching there. I'm really watching more than anything for the NASDAQ to bounce back into previous day low and look for a short at that level today. That would be ideal. Not sure we're going to get the bounce because right now we're sort of just free falling through that no demand area. All right, 372 on the QQQ. This is very important here, and you can see we actually just broke it. If I go to the hourly chart on the QQQ, 372 is right here, right? Right here, 372. That's that previous high right there. Right now, we just broke below it. We also broke below the 50 SMA. All right, so the 50 SMA and that 372, which is right here, right? We held that in the pre-market. Here's your 50 SMA. You just slipped below it, right? You just slipped below that 372. So the ideal entry today, right? I know we might not get it, but the ideal entry today is a push back into, this is now red, right? Is a push back into 372, right? That would be ideal. If we get a bounce back into 372, right? I would love to see a push back into that level, a rejection of it, and then a continuation to the downside. That would be ideal entry on Qs. If we get a bounce over 372, I would say watch previous day lows right around here, right? Previous day lows. I'm going to delete that. Previous day lows are right here on the Qs around that 372.81. So hopefully looking for some bounces today to re-short into, right? Those are my top plays today. Looking for re-shorts at previous day lows or this 372 on the QQQ. All right? That's the Qs. I mean, I wouldn't be looking for upside if you're under previous day lows, right? I don't think there's a reason to look for upside when you're breaking under previous day lows. That's just very apparent to me. I'm actually going to move this down to 447. So there's your ES, right? ES is getting close to previous day low here. So this could be nice, right? If we get that clean previous day low rejection, that could be nice. That's also SPY, right? That's also SPY 444, 443.80. So NASDAQ running away with it a little bit. But we could still get a bounce, right? Stay patient. We could still get that little NASDAQ bounce into previous day low and then a re-short. That's what we want to look for. All right? Dow Jones holding up a little bit better today because Dow's probably not getting hit as much as tech here. Dow's pretty much just in this channel. You guys can see that. There's your channel on the Dow. 34.8, right? 34.8 to 34.3. There's your little channel. Watch that 34.3 level on the Dow today. That's clear as day. Russell. Ooh, this could be interesting. This could be very interesting. Look to see if the Russell turns this into a rejection today. This could be a nice little trade, actually. If the Russell rejects 1875 today, you might be able to find a little Russell downside trade, right? Previous lows, previous highs, right? And then look at this little 200 and 100 SMA here on the Russell. Yeah, if you see the Russell get stuck under this 200 and 100 SMA around 1875, you actually could get a nice little Russell downside here. I might actually look to trade that myself, right? Maybe a little downside towards like channel lows around this 1850. That could be very clean, right? Stop right over that 200 SMA. Stop over like this 1877 area. Look for that downside move towards that 1850. Rejection of the 200 and 100. Rejection of channel high. That's nice. Keep an eye on that. All right, Tesla. So Tesla, big level here, 244 today. Let's see what happens, right? You can see right here, previous highs. You have this sort of demand here around this 244. Look to see if we break that 244 today. Now, here's my only concern for you. Tesla might get a little bit jumpy around that 244. Just know that, right? Tesla gets a little jumpy around major levels here. And it's really down to like 242. So it's really, you got to really understand your zone here, right? You got to understand your zone. You got to understand it's not just a key level. It's sort of a zone, right? You can see 242, right? 242s. And then this sort of zone here, 242, 244 zone is sort of what's held up on Tesla. So you have this little triple bottom here, right? If Tesla does break below that, right, turns it into rejections, you could see more downside. Now, the only other concern, right, is you have that 20 SMA right here that could hold Tesla up a little bit, and that's exactly at 240, right? So 240 would be your target there on the downside. You have to be careful of that 20 SMA. So really, as of right now, Tesla's just in a channel. You guys can see we're in a channel between this 244, 242, and this 252 supply above, right? So very interesting, right? There could be a nice breakdown of this channel. If we actually get a breakdown of this channel, there might be some nice price action on Tesla, but we need to get under this demand around 242, 244 before getting really confident on the downside, because this could, like it did yesterday, it could just sort of bounce off this level again. And we don't want to be stuck in that if we're too aggressive on the short side. So we do need to get a break under this demand here around 242. I would say it's really like 242. Yeah. See, this is the problem with Tesla, right? You can already sort of foresee some of the problems that you could have here. It's not an exact level, so you're going to have to be very cautious. I like to put my zones at the extremes, so I know there's no questions, right, about where my entries are. So I think the extreme is 242. So I wouldn't want to take, right, here's the problem you could have. And this is just trading, right? If you take a short at like 240, let's say you had a line, right? Let me just sort of explain to you how this could go wrong. All right, let's say you had a line at 242.58, right? Let's say your level looked like this, right? Because you're looking at this low right here. See this low right here? That's 242.58. Let's say you go into the day and you say, oh, we're below 242.58. I'm going to look to short under that level, right? But you didn't include this wick right here, 242, right? And then maybe Tesla just sort of bounces off 242 and you're like, what the hell happened? This is the problem when you have to, when you got to really be careful, especially on a stock like Tesla. And that is why I like to extend these to the far edges of the zones or of the potential bounce points, right? So the potential bounce point for me is still that 242 wick low here, right? So I'm keeping my line at 242. I do not want to short if that 242 is still holding on, right? So if I see a break under 242, then I'll have more confidence, right? And I see 242 turning into rejections. Until then, I have to be cautious of this demand area holding up, right? And I don't want to be short in that area. So just be aware of that, right? You can clearly see that's an important previous channel high. Keep an eye on that area. So 242, I think, is that last line in the sand. Keep an eye on that 242 today. New York, thank you, man. Thank you, Desiano, for Tesla. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Tesla. So that's that. Nvidia. Very nice break under 480 yesterday. You guys saw that. A huge flush under 480. As of right now, we are holding this. We're holding this. Yeah, plus you have the 20 SMA below. So, yes, it could be a little tricky there, right? It could be a little tricky there. So, you guys can see here on NVIDIA, right? You have this 20 SMA that's holding around 457, right? 457, you're sort of holding up. The real demand is not until around this 450. You have 450, 450, double bottom at 450. So, in my opinion, I don't think NVIDIA holds up at that 20 in the middle of the channel, unless the NASDAQ really rallies today. I would be interested to see, there's a few different trade setups that I'm looking at today. One, it's a bounce into around this 446, right? A bounce into this previous day low. Possibly the gap fill, right? There's a gap fill possibility as well. So there's a few possibilities here, right? Let's sort of talk about our possibilities on NVIDIA today. And then the final possibility is just I would say, break of pre-market lows in the 20 SMA. So here's your three possibilities on NVIDIA today. All of them, for me, lead to downside. But the problem is the entry point, right? The entry point's the key. So entry one, most aggressive downside entry, is a break and hold below pre-market lows and a break and hold below the 20 SMA for a move into 450, right? That's one. Oh, we got data? Yeah, we got data in 30 seconds. I'll wait for this. I'll wait to go over these possibilities on NVIDIA. Let's go ahead and look and see what jobless claims have to say today. There's your ES. We got jobless claims, U.S. productivity, and U.S. labor or unit labor costs. Let's see what the reaction is here on the ES, if any. Okay. A little bit of a candle to the downside. Okay, we broke yesterday lows. Little bit of wick still. Wiki. Okay, so it looks like it's definitely a little bit of a downside reaction for sure. Jobless claims 216 versus 234. So that's still implying a strong labor market. So a little bit of downside there. We broke under previous day lows. This could be nice, right? Look, now we look to see, can we get rejections at previous day lows? That could be very nice. All right, so we're breaking down under previous day lows on the ES. That's very important. SPY is right there at that 20 SMA. It's right there. Break and hold below previous day lows on ES is going to be, I think, our cleanest watch here if we want to get some very clean downside. All right, let's continue. NVIDIA. So there's a few scenarios here for me, right? First, if we're really weak to start, we're just looking for a break and hold below the 20 SMA. If we break and hold below the 20 SMA and the pre-market lows, we're going to 450. That's without a doubt for me. That's definitely something I'll be looking for, right? If you see a break and hold below previous day or pre-market lows, I am looking for that move into 450. If we get a bounce of any sort, I'm looking for one, a supply rejection of yesterday's lows right here, 446 or 466, right? 466. I'll be looking to see if you get a bounce off this pre-market low, right, into that 466 level. If you go further than 466, I'll be looking for the gap fill at 470 and then that to turn into a rejection there. So those are my three watches for NVIDIA today, right? We'll have to see. Which one we get. There's three opportunities for me. Here's the three opportunities I'm looking for. I'm looking for one, break and retest of pre-market low. Two, retest of previous day low. Or three, gap fill and a rejection at 470. Right? Those are my three watches on NVIDIA today. So we'll see which one I get. But those are the ones. That's what I'll be looking for. And those are the only places I am willing to take entries. Right? That's how I have to structure my day. I am only willing to take entries here, or here. An entry anywhere else is just a total boredom trade without any type of real idea behind it, right? So that's what I'll be watching, all right? Nvidia, that's that. Let's continue. Google. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. This could be interesting. Okay. What's this high? 134. Okay, we do need to be careful of that 134, though. Yeah, just a little bit. I don't think we have to really get too concerned of the 134, but just a little concerned of the 134. This is a big break for me on Google. 135 is a big break in my eyes for Google. You guys can see right here, 135, previous highs here, previous lows here, right? That 135, which is now breaking in the pre-market, I think is very important. You have to be a little bit cautious of 134. I don't think you need to really, if the NASDAQ's like really falling today, I don't think you stay out of this trade because of 134. But I like this downside potential on Google a lot if we stay under 135. You guys can see here on the 30-minute chart, right? If you sort of stay under this little 135 high, I think there is potential for downside. Maybe down towards this 132.50, towards that 20 SMA down here. That's something I will be watching today. 135, looking to see if Google stays below it. You can see right here, look at this straight up move, look at this straight down move between this area. So if I see 135 turn into rejections today on Google, I'll be targeting that 132.50. Very nice watch there for me today. I'm excited to see if that plays out. Microsoft. This one's real interesting. Look at this hourly chart. Look at this hourly chart. See this little trend here? Right into supply? Interesting, right? See this supply here? This 335, major rejection here. Look at this Microsoft little uptrend it's been in. I think if Microsoft breaks this 330 level and breaks this uptrend, this could get sort of slippery, right? This could get sort of slippery. So, watching to see, is the NASDAQ really taking that much of a hit? Ah, man, we're going to miss it, huh? Yeah, it is what it is. No, we won't miss it. There'll be plays intraday. Stay patient. All right, this is where we can't get too hyped up. We gotta believe and there's gonna be some type of a reshort entry. There always is a reshort entry. We just gotta wait for it, right? So this is good, right? Maybe we get another bounce back into the pre-market lows, right? There's still nice probably reshort entries on the ES. Yeah, this ES isn't gone anywhere. We have plenty of opportunities still here, right? If you get a bounce into previous day lows on the ES, that could be a great reshort entry. So yeah, it's moving away a little bit, but I still think we got some opportunity here. Microsoft, right? Look at this little. I like this a lot. If I can see 330 turn into rejections on Microsoft today, I will be looking for a trend break. I will be looking for this uptrend break, this sort of flush to the downside off 335 triple top supply. I'm definitely going to be watching this one today. Watching 330 on Microsoft. All right. So Apple, really aggressive downside, a little bit of China drama going on here. You guys can see here, gap down this morning, gap down yesterday. Nice continuation all day. Ugly downside on Apple, 177. This is going to be the level today. You guys remember this level? We've talked about this level so many times. 177 on Apple is a major area that it has held in the past multiple times. Now, if you go here, right, this is an important day. This was Thursday, the 17th of August. On Thursday, the 17th of August, you had a major rejection of 177 and a downside continuation. So, what am I looking for today? All right, what am I looking for today on Apple? You can already see here in the pre-market, look at what Apple has done at 177. 1, 2, 3 bounces right at 177. So, if I see Apple do a little dance here, right, and I start seeing it dancing at that 177 and I start seeing rejection step in, then I am obligated by my own code to take that short, right? This is not a short that I will be able to not take, right? If we get a short under 170, if we get a under 177, if we start seeing rejections there, right, then I am without a doubt, right, looking to take a short with a stop over 177. That's just an obligation at that point. So that is definitely a watch for me, right? I'll keep an eye on that today. Break and retest rejection of 177 on Apple. If we get some more downside slip on the NASDAQ, I like that to be one of the weaker names. So big watch there. Watch 177 Apple today. Bruh, throw Ford some love. No. Okay? No. Amazon. Next. 1 hour chart. You see what I'm looking at? All right? Look what we're looking at here. Rejection. Rejection. Rejection here. Right? And what did Amazon do yesterday? 20 SMA, rejection of that same level. Downsides coming in very nicely, right? You got this little trend break that just happened here on Amazon. This looks a little deadly, right? This looks a little deadly, not going to lie. So the problem is, right? The problem is, where does this start to find support? That's the only problem here. I'm thinking probably this little 50 SMA 133 area is probably your first level to be watching, right? That's probably your first area to be watching. 133, you have support here, rejections here. You have some rejections at 133 there, and you have the 50 SMA right there. So here's what you look for, right? This is how you enter a play like this. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to go to the 5 minute. I'm going to scale down. This is how we look for an entry. Previous day lows, right? That's what we look for. Previous day lows. So we're under previous day lows, right? What do we look for intraday? What do we do so that we don't FOMO into downside and we actually take a structured entry? We look for a bounce into previous day lows and we look for a rejection of it, right? We have seen this trade work out time and time again. We have to stay patient for it. So today on Amazon, I will be looking for a bounce intraday into the previous day double bottom, right? Even the pre-market low, right? This is perfect. This is exactly what you want to see. Triple bottom at the exact level. We flushed below it this morning. We wait for the bounce. We look for the rejections to step up. And at that point, you have a obligation to take that short, right? If you start seeing rejections stepping up here around this 134.70, right? And you just don't take the trade, that's just a matter of being scared, right? That is the obligation. That's an obligation entry at a rejection of this triple bottom, previous day low, pre-market low. So that is something I will be watching today, looking to see if we can get a retest and a rejection of that level. That would be very, very nice today. Hopefully it just works out for us, right, man? Trading, right? You can get these setups. They can look really good, right? And sometimes they'll work perfectly and it's a beautiful day. But there are times in trading where they just don't really set up for you, right? So, it's not always perfect, but we can prepare, right? Our job here is to prepare, right? That's our job. We come here to prepare so that if we see it intraday, we can jump on it. Jump on it. Lick on it quick. Why did that get stuck in my head? What song is that? Jump on it. What song is that? It's an old song. That's not Salt and Pepper here. Is that Salt and Pepper here? I think that is that song. Is that song, Salt and Pepper? So, anyways, let's continue. Let's not get sidetracked. So, AMD, right? Look at this. AMD, rejection. You moved up into this level. You're starting to reject, right? Look at this uptrend, right? That's a nice little break there. Is it salt? I think it's salt and pepper here. It's not that song. Push it real good. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Push it real good. So little uptrend here, right? 4-hour uptrend. We're breaking it. We're breaking it. Very key, right? Very key little break there. Let me get a little bit more time here. AMD, we know AMD is a weak stock, and it just broke this uptrend. Next level, it's right around this 105. So be careful of this little 105 potential demand there. But if you break that 105, right? If we get a trend break here, break of 105, right? Absolutely looking for downside continuation here. Absolutely looking for continuation to the downside. Watching to see if AMD stays under this trend, right? Breaks under 105 demand. And if it does, I like that downside continuation, right? I like that downside continuation. So let's go over the watches again one more time. Tesla, 242 and 20 SMA below. Look to see if we get stuck below that. If we do, I like that potential downside. Nvidia looks deadly. If Nvidia breaks below 20 SMA and pre-market lows, I like that downside into 450 today. Google, 135. Look for the retest of 135. Amazon, look for the retest of previous day lows. That thing's running away without us, of course. And then Microsoft, this is a little bit of a longer term look. Microsoft, you got that 4-hour uptrend. That looks pretty deadly, right? If you break that 4-hour uptrend, watch out below there. Apple, 177. That looks very interesting today. And then finally, that AMD 4-hour trend break that is setting up right now. Some nice watches out there today. Let's see if we can get some entry points. The only concern you have here today, right? The only concern you have here today is that the market's moving lower without you right now. I would wait for you. You sort of need to wait. You got to stay a little bit patient here. There is potential for demand to step up at this 20 SMA here today. So I would wait to see if you get any type of bounce. You really want a little dead cat bounce here to get a short entry, right? Demand steps up here around this 15,170, 15,150, right? No meta today. No. I got nothing for you on meta, okay? Why is everyone screaming out meta? Meta, why meta but not me? Meta, please. No, nothing. Look at meta. What's here? Channel and shit channel, right? I don't like anything. Look for the channel. If you want to trade it, look for the break of the channel. 302, 294. You guys can spot that channel. You already know what I'm going to look at, right? If you guys see this chart, you know what I'm going to say, right? You don't need to ask. Look, very clear. Channel. So NASDAQ, we got to be careful. If you are short today, you got to be a little bit careful of this 50 SMA below, right? Or I'm sorry, 20 SMA below. ES. This I like. This gives me some this makes me feel like there's some possibility for more downside, right? You guys can see right here. Would love a little bounce into pre-market low, or previous day low. Not sure we're going to get it, but that is what I'd like to see, right? That is what I'd like to see. All right. Some nice setups out there today, guys. Go ahead and get it. Pay attention to the futures levels. Just be a little bit careful of being short here into this 20 SMA. This is something I could foresee being a problem here for some late, right? If you're a little bit late to the short side today and the NASDAQ's trading around here, it could be a little bit tricky, right? If the NASDAQ's here, starts to bounce today off this 20, right? Do something like this. It's a little bit concerning, right? So just be careful of that, right? Just be careful of that. 20 SMA, 15,150, possible demand down there, right? Just be cautious of that. If you are entering late day shorts, okay? All right. That's all I got. Hope you guys have a fantastic trading day. looks like we're going to get some opportunity out there. So hopefully you guys take advantage of it. Just be safe, be cautious. Don't let this downside pre-market get you all hyped up. Don't be out there, hitting the put button as soon as the market opens. Let the things bounce a little bit. Let there be a little morning bounce, a little fake bounce. You want to smile at the bounce, right? You're like, oh, I know this is fake. That's what you want to be looking at. You want to look for that morning bounce. Because, okay, I like this bounce. Let's see where this starts to fade. Let's let this thing bounce a little bit. Let's see where the weakness starts to step in, and let's jump on it. I don't like just opening up and looking for downside continuation. If that's what we're going to get today, it might be a little bit of a difficult day for me because I like to get those bounces and those fades. That's what I really like to take advantage of. So hopefully we get that today. We'll see what happens. I hope you guys have a fantastic trading day. Press that like button if you could. We're really lacking on the likes, man. I don't know why I have to ask. I got to ask every time. If you guys could, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 1,000 likes. And, yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Peace.
Bye.